Perfect. Hi. Hello people. What's up? What's up? What's up? How are you guys? पहले तो मुझे ये बताओ यार, यहाँ पे मुझे जानता कौन कौन है? अब फाइनली कोई सुनेगा मेरी बात, ठीक है? So hi. And since you guys have seen my content, I create content around running, around mindset, around like the stories of my life, right? And I started like Aditya. I also started like 5 months ago, and I was fortunate enough कि थोड़े बहुत followers आ गए. So the thing is that you guys asked me for a script, and you guys need to understand one thing. Yeah, this is not going to be a very formal talk. This is going to be more of a conversation, more of a storytelling about my life. See, all our lives we've learned कि बहुत मेहनत करो, सब कुछ हो जाएगा. And this one line that 3 Idiots also said कि "Oh, run after excellence, money would follow you." For the longest time, I used to think that was a whole load of like just rubbish, right? But now where I stand, I can tell you that is the truth. Just work hard, okay? But it's not that easy. The point is, everybody tells you to work hard, but life is not as linear as it looks like. You need to understand there's a power dynamic with respect to how power works. In the sense, some people will be born with a lot of money. Some people will be born with a lot of power. And I think that the cards that I was dealt were not the best cards. But that's the rule of poker. You play with the cards you're dealt with, and you make the best out of it. That's all I've ever known in my life. The point is that as a kid, I used to complain. I used to complain कि why do I not come from money? Why are my parents not as available as I want them to be? And I would always give that responsibility to the world कि मेरा environment ऐसा है, मेरे parents ऐसे हैं, हमारे पास पैसा क्यों नहीं है, and all that stuff, right? And I was in that victim mindset. I was victimizing myself all my life, and I was like, hey, Nirbhay, you're 17 years old. Do you really want to live your life in this mindset of why did my life not play out the way I wanted it to? Or do you want to be the anchor? Do you want to be the captain of your ship now? You want to make something of your own. At 18, I started earning. That changed a lot of things. That changed my psyche a lot. And that is where I was like, hey, I can do something of my own. Now I'm called a rich dad because I have expensive taste, but that's just a compliment that I have. So this is something I need people to understand. In life, you have to play with the cards you're dealt with. अगर मैं बैठ के ये आज बोलना शुरू करूँ ना मेरी लाइफ में क्या प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, तो मेरी लाइफ में भी 1000 प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, आपकी लाइफ में भी 1000 प्रॉब्लम्स हैं. You just need to understand it's all about perspective. Right now, I'm just 23 years old. People assume I'm older, but I'm just 23 years old and I am able to pursue my dreams. As a kid, not even a joke. At 15, I told my mom that I wanted to be a Baba. And it was not for tax evasion reasons. It was primarily because I think I lacked a support system as a kid. And I wanted that support system to be available to other people. 5 months ago, one day, I was coming from a job and I was like, hey, Nirbhay, do you really want to grind your life away working for someone else in a profession that only requires power and privilege? You don't have any of that. So how are you going to excel here? And one day, I just posted a video of me running. The next video that I posted, it blew up. And I was like, wow, people really want to see this. Creativity doesn't come to you when you're sitting at home. You have to try new things. You have to do stuff for you to get into that flow state where everything just comes to you. Right now, if you tell me to talk about a topic, I can. But that is because I dabbled enough. Trial and error, right? Something you need to understand is that complaining is not a part of your life. It's again perspective, right? Half full, half empty. It's at the end of the day, it's the same thing. But you need to understand that आपका competition ना आपका age है नहीं. Someone asked me, hey, when do you sleep? I don't. And is that healthy? No. Do I suggest that? No. But my competition is not a 23-year-old. My competition is a 50-year-old man who's already a millionaire, who's achieved everything that he wanted to. And I want to have all of that at the age of 25. This is not me being delusional, but delusion is the only way I know. You need to understand delusional self-belief. This is one line I came up with a while ago. Be so delusional, be so optimistic, and be so hardworking that it becomes so unreasonable that you fail. Because आपके हाथ में ना एक ही चीज़ है, जो है हार्ड वर्क और डिल्यूजन. अगर आपको अपने सपनों से डर नहीं लगता है, तो आपके सपने बहुत छोटे हैं. That's something I read as a kid, and now it makes sense because every time I think about my goals, at the age of 25 I want this, at the age of 27 I want this, I'm afraid of my goals. I'm like, how would you do it? You're already overworking yourself. You're doing as much as you can. How are you going to achieve all of that? But if 6 months, hello, yeah. So, but if 6 months ago you would have told me, Nirbhay, this would be your life, Nirbhay, you will be standing on a TEDx stage and talking to the youth, I would have been like, "Pagal kisko bana rahe ho?" That was impossible in my head. See, at the end of the day, this is all you have. Now is all you have. And that's something I think most people fail to realize. You think you have 20 years to yourself, you think you have 70 years to yourself. And fortunately or unfortunately, I realized that pretty early that I don't have time. I grew up in circumstances where monetary resources weren't very available. I grew up in circumstances where I saw a lot of death at a young age. And I realized कि भाई जो है आज है, कल का किसी को पता नहीं. तो आज करना है, अच्छे से करो. इसका मतलब योलो करके गलत काम नहीं करना है. Maximum people would perceive it that way. But it's not YOLO. You don't live once. You live every day. You only die once. And that's something, if people understood that. If people understood that every day you have a new opportunity to yourself to make your life great, to make the world a better place to live in, you would not waste your time. And there's multiple events like that. At the age of 7, my parents sat me down and they were like, बेटा हमारे पास ना सिर्फ इतना पैसा है कि आपकी एजुकेशन कभी नहीं रुकेगी, पर उसके आगे हमसे मांगना मत. जब खुद कमाओगे तो सारे शौक पूरे कर लेना. And for a 7-year-old, I don't think I understood what it meant. But after a while, I was like, okay, I can't ask for things. And that made me very frustrated because why would a kid not want new toys? Why would a kid not want to go on a trip? Why would a kid not want what his friends had? And I was like, खुद ही करेंगे अब. ठीक है? So that and another event that I think has a very big impact in my life was I was 13 or 14. My father was in his office and he had a potential heart attack. He was on a stretcher and he asked for a piece of paper. And he wrote this one line down. This is something that I can never forget. He told me that later on though. He said, while my father was potentially dying, he wrote this one line down. He said, no matter what happens, the show must go on. That man in his possible last moments just wanted to leave that message कि बेटा जिंदगी में ना कुछ भी हो जाए, हार नहीं माननी. And if you're resilient enough in that respect, where you're like, hey, okay, things happen, let me make the best out of what I have, you'll never ever give up in life. And giving up is not an option. People need to realize that the only way anybody wins. Okay, maybe some people come with money, some people come with privilege. I'm talking to the general masses who does not come from that. Identify your skill, refine that skill, repeat that skill, and don't give up. अगर तुमने जिंदगी में ये कर लिया ना, तो कुछ भी हो सकता है. I am a nerd. I don't know how to use Instagram. And this is coming from an influencer right now. When I uploaded my first video, I had to go to YouTube and be like, how do I upload a reel? And this is who I am now. This is a major part of my profession now. I get recognized in public, which is amazing. And that all started with one right decision. That one leap of faith. That one trust in myself that, hey, let's do this. People tell me, oh, you're so young, you've achieved so much. I think I'm too late. I could have done this when I was 18. You're never too late. All you have is now. Do what you want to. Follow your dreams. And I know this is a very cliche line, oh, follow your dreams. You're going to come up with 1,000 reasons why you can't. But you have to come up with that one reason why you should. यार दुनिया बड़ी है बताने के लिए कि क्या गलत हो सकता है. हर कोई बताएगा कि ये कर लिया तो ये गलत हो जाएगा, वो कर लिया तो वो गलत हो जाएगा. But आपको पता है कि अगर सही हो गया तो क्या होगा. That's all you need to know. And you need to understand, this is something I've realized, you don't need a lot of wins in your life. You just need one win. One right decision, one win, and everything changes. This is a simple play that I have. That if you knew that, okay, most people are afraid of failure. Most people don't want to fail because it's embarrassing, because they think it's wasted effort. But if I told you that on the 11th failure you were going to win, like the 12th attempt you were going to make, you're going to definitely win, you would run towards failure. I think people fail to realize that failure is a stepping stone to success. Every time I fail, I learn. Every time I fail, I re-strategize. Every time I fail, I contemplate and I introspect. And that is how I get better. This is something that you and I have. I'm a 23-year-old guy standing on a stage giving a random speech about how you should live life. I barely live life. These people who are elder than me have lived more than I have. The one thing that they potentially don't and we have is time. Don't ever take that for granted. There are people on their deathbeds right now. There are people who are breathing their last breaths. And right now, no matter how bad your life is, they would do anything to switch places. And यार एक चीज समझना, अगर हार जाओगे ना जिंदगी में, तो हर कोई आके बताएगा कि ऐसे कर लेते, वैसे कर लेते, ऐसे कर लेना चाहिए था. और अगर जीत जाओगे तो लोग आके पूछते हैं. एंड जो लोग आज हंस रहे हैं ना, एक चीज, दिस इज स्लाइटली कंट्रोवर्शियल, बट जो लोग आज हंस रहे हैं ना, वही लोग आके बाद में पूछते हैं कि तुमने कैसे किया. वही लोग बाद में बोलेंगे अरे तुम तो लकी हो गए थे. The people who used to laugh at me, their biggest flex is that, oh, I know Nirbhay. The people who used to tell me, oh, what are you doing on the internet, dude? What is Woohoo? Now Woohoo is a brand. That is how life works. If you are persistent enough in your dreams, if you work as hard as you can, if all you think about is that thing, there's no way you don't win. Obsession beats any talent, any privilege, any power in the world. And if you're obsessed enough with your goal, the goal is going to be yours. There's no other way about it. I think we consume ourselves with the thoughts of what if it doesn't work out? But what if it does? Your dream life will be yours. And I am living my dream life. I am the Baba that the 15-year-old wanted to be. It was never about having disciples. It was all about having the right audience to speak to, making an impact. Like if you watch my initial videos and you watch my videos now, yes, there's going to be some refinement. But the underlying message is still the same. It was never about the numbers on the screen. It was never about how much money I make. It was about touching lives. And this is a conversation I was having with one of you right now. One day I literally sat with myself and I was like, Nirbhay, okay, you're getting the numbers, you're getting the money. What are you doing it all for? I had lost my path, I think. And I got a message from someone that sent me a video of myself and that said, thank you so much for posting this video. I was going to jump off the roof. I did not because I watched this video. And that is the day I was like, Nirbhay, तुमने जिंदगी में कुछ तो सही किया है. That's all the impact I've ever wanted to make. And I think this something I realized was, अपने लिए ना सब जी लेते हैं, कभी दूसरों के लिए जी के देखो. There's so many people who are not as well as you are, but you can make a difference in their lives. And I think difference के लिए ना कुछ ज़्यादा करने की ज़रूरत नहीं होती. किसी के साथ जाके बैठ के बात करो, किसी को हालचाल पूछ लो यार, लोगों को उतना ही चाहिए होता है. Okay, not making it boring. So yes, follow your dreams. That's one thing. And be crazy, okay? मम्मा पापा को समझ नहीं आएगा, कोई बात नहीं. दुनिया को समझ नहीं आएगा, कोई बात नहीं. तुम्हें समझ आना चाहिए तुम्हारा सपना. और उसके लिए पागल होना पड़ेगा. अगर अपने सपने को फॉलो नहीं किया ना, तो 50 साल की उम्र में जाके तुम्हें ये लगेगा कि यार काश कर लिया होता. What if I would have done that? अगर फेल भी हो गए तो क्या फर्क पड़ता है यार? The worst is your current state. You're already there. There's nothing to lose. And this is a conversation I don't want to have when I go to heaven or hell for that matter, is the person sitting in front of me would tell me, this is what you could have been and this is who you were. And I don't want to not reach my potential. The only thing I'm afraid of in my life is not reaching my potential. What if I don't achieve what I was set out to achieve? What if I don't reach my goals? What if I just be another mediocre person in the world? There's numbers and there's names. I want to be a name, not a number. And that is how life works. If the world tells you you can't, that's all the more reason to do it. Everybody told me, it's impossible. How will you go? Someone told me, oh, you can't get 100K followers in 3 months. I did it. Everybody told me, oh, you can't make X amount of money. I did it. I think that pushes me. When someone doubts me, I'm like, wow, you're giving me an opportunity to prove you wrong. Let me just do it. And there's no negative emotion attached to it. It's all about the fact that I take every opportunity as a challenge and I want to defeat every challenge that I take.